What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to the first of our Anfield Agenda Fantasy Premier League, sponsored by Blood Husky Clothing. I'm really excited about this. It was Brian's baby, and I'm joined by Brian Morrissey now. He's on the line. Brian, how are you, pal?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you all doing?
I'm fucking tickety boo, mate, as always. And as I said, I want to introduce the league and say that it is sponsored by bloodhusky.com. Massive thank you to them for sponsoring the league. We'll go through it in more detail as things work out. Brian, we're going to aim this at newbies, mate, because people that play Fantasy Premier League probably know most of the rules and regulations. So what I thought we'd do today is really kind of just do what I would like if I was starting now, kind of maybe an
Oh,
idiot's guide to Fantasy Premier League.
yeah, yeah, that's a good title.
Yeah, it's a type of title that would draw me in, so that's kind of where I went with it. I'm not trying to be mean towards anybody else. I just assume everybody is as dumb as me when it comes to certain
Yeah,
things.
no,
So
it's the best way to go so that everyone knows what the crack is, what happens, and everyone has their eyes open when they go into it.
exactly, exactly. And again, with bloodhusky.com, they sell fantastic Liverpool clobber, guys. If you want to go over to bloodhusky.com and get yourself a 10% discount on the purchase of two or more t-shirts, just put in the code Anfield Agenda 10 at checkout, all caps, Anfield Agenda 10, and that'll get you a 10% discount. Now, let's get into the basic rules of it, Brian. It sounds very easy to sit back and go through the basic rules, but then you start asking yourself, well, what are the basic rules? So what I've tried to do is to say that everybody gets £100 million to spend. Now, what I will say, Brian, is we've got to build a 15-man squad with that, but the 100 million is a lot more realistic than the real world transfer prices.
Yeah, well, yeah, Man United proved that, didn't they? You have enough to build a very good starting 11 and a bench of players who you probably shouldn't be looking to use that much. But the players are priced in a way that you get plenty of options, and £100 million, it should be enough. It should be enough for everyone to be able to build a strong team that they're happy with.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to be honest, if you have any money left at the end of it, I'm very disappointed in you. Because you should be at the point where you're going, oh, I only need an extra 1 million. Let me look back through my team and who I can boot out. But going through those basic rules, 15-man squad is the minimum that you have to build, ladies and gents. And if my maths is right here, Brian, that's two goalkeepers, five defenders, five midfielders, and three forwards.
That's correct.
Good. I'm not going to lie, double, triple check that a few times because I usually
Mhm.
forget something really simple and
Okay,
stuff like this.
you can choose whatever formation you want to play. So that you don't have to buy three strikers that are all so you can choose. So some people can play four at the back, three at the back, five at the back, two up top, three in the middle, four in the middle. So you can spread your money across whatever way you want to do it.
I'm a 3-4-3 man myself, usually, when it comes to fantasy.
It's classic. It's the classic, but it's something we'll probably go into later on. This is more of a thing, but it has changed slightly over, especially last year, and partly down to Liverpool, and more this year. It's not. It was the template formation for a very long time, but that has changed. But we'll stick to the basics this week.
To everybody in the chat, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we will be doing the late night agenda after this as well. This is entirely about Fantasy Premier League. And I want to just check one thing with everybody. I can see one person said their stream is lagging on my end. It looks like everything has gone fine. So can you just give me a thumbs up in the chat just to let me know that everything has gone good at your end? Right, what else we got? You still there, Brian? Mr. Morrissey? Is it just me, ladies and gents? Am I on my own? I don't know where Mr. Morrissey is after going. Seems like it's just me. No problems with the stream. Brilliant. Right, look, I'm going to carry on. I don't know what's going on with Brian, so I'm going to carry on, go through this and the bits that I've set up. So as I said, you need 15 players in your squad, ladies and gents. Two goalkeepers, five defenders, five midfielders and three forwards. Everybody receives one free transfer each game week, and additional transfers cost players 4 points each. Free transfers do carry over to the week afterwards. So if you're like me sometimes and you just forget to make transfers and stuff, that free transfer will carry over. Each additional transfer that you make costs you 4 very valuable points. And I got to be honest, I use up a lot of points wasted on transfers. So as I said, are you there, Brian? Are you back with us?
I am actually sorry. I don't know what end it was there, but yeah, the points, people should be very, very wary of the cost of making extra transfers. I'll put it this way. I once finished joint top of a very competitive league, small league, but the points were very, very high in it. And I finished joint top of that league, and I lost that league because I had made more transfers that year than the guy that I drew level with. So these
Oof.
things can come back to bite you. You
Yeah,
need to
they
be careful
definitely
with your
can.
transfers.
Yeah, don't be like me and just go, it's only 4 points, it's only 8 points. As Brian
They
said,
all
it
add up.
does add up.
Yeah, they all add up. There's penalties there, and so often when going minus seems like a good idea, rarely, unless you've got some big injuries, unless you know that someone's not going to play, and you know you're going to have two guys that are suspended, really think long and hard before you go minus, because at the end, it's almost like a good attendance record. The people that win the game, win leagues, they don't just make the best decisions, they make the fewest transfers.
There you go. Bit of knowledge being dropped from Brian. Davey Fisher said, "Can you ask Mark Goldbridge to join your league?" Thank you for the super chat, mate. Yes, I will try my best to get Mark to join. Although I don't know how excited or what the possibility will be of him joining a Liverpool-based league, because I'm sure he's probably going to load. But I will ask because you've asked Davey. Right, what else have we got, Brian? We went through the fact that you get one free transfer each week, and that does carry on to the following week, and use them wisely. Another important thing, Brian, is that you can only choose a maximum of 3 players from any one club.
Yeah, that will become apparent pretty quickly when if you're new in the game, if you try and pick a forward player from someone else. So if you want to cover the defense, you want to cover the mids, you want to cover the attack, just look at what you want to do, where the best options are, and maybe spread it a bit, but also be wary that if you have a lot of players from one team, a lot of players from another team, quite often you're going to end up with what we call matchups, which is where you're basically your team has been reduced to a very small pool of games. So you want to give yourself as many chances to get as many points from as many different games as possible. Now, my own team formation that might go through there, that will give light to that a little bit, but that's a base formation for the base team for the beginning of the game. But spread it a little bit, and I think three is a lot of players from one team anyway. So any more than that would be pretty unnecessary.
And for those asking in the chat, and I know there are a few people that are asking, it is absolutely free to join this league, and it should be free to join pretty much any other Premier League or fancy Premier League. If you're on Google Play, if you're on the an iPhone, just go to your App Store and just search Fantasy Premier League, and it is the one with the official Premier League logo on it. That's the one that we're doing here. I will get on to the codes in a second, and I'm sure Connor will put them in the chat as well. Another important thing, Brian, is around the captain. Now, your captain gets double points every week, and if your captain doesn't play, then your vice captain will step up and take those points.
Yeah, look out for who your vice captain is, because some people will captain someone and they'll leave it in for the next week, but the vice captain won't be suitable for the following week. So if you had a good vice captain, say if this guy, my captain doesn't play, well, this guy, he's a striker and he's a really good fixture. Just be careful the next week. Look out for who your vice captain is if you're leaving your captain the same. You also, goals scored by midfielders, defenders, strikers, they're not all worth the same. So look at your vice captain that way and use it cleverly, because we've all seen it. Your star player, whoever it is, gets injured in the warm-up. There's no notice that he's going to be out. You don't know. There's no warnings. There's no press coming out beforehand. Go out. They have a run-up. He takes a knock, and he's out of the game. And he's your captain. So be careful who your vice captain is.
Or you could be fucked, to put it in a technical term. It's happened to us all.
We've all been there. The story, like
Absolutely.
fantasy.
So as Brian said, captain, double points. Make sure you keep it on your vice captain as well. And as Brian said also, this is probably a little bit more detailed, but do check out the points, because goal scorers, forwards get different points from midfielders for different things, then midfielders get defensive points. But look, that's all stuff that you can investigate yourself. We're trying to just go through the real basics today. The fun starts to come in, Brian, when you introduce the chips that are available to help you out during the game. The first one I want to have a chat about is one that you get twice per season. You get this once before Christmas and then once after, once in the new year and once before the new year. So I like to say the Christmas period. So let's say up until 31st of December. And that's the Wildcard. And what the wildcard does is that gives you unlimited transfers for that week, so you can make as well, or like as long as you're within your 100 million budget or whatever your budget is, you can make unlimited transfers, Brian, and not lose any valuable points.
Yeah, it's the basis of the game. It's one of the tenets of the game. Your wild card. You basically just get to wipe your slate clean and start again. It's as simple as that. You sell all your players, and as you'll see, if you buy a player for £10 million and he does very well, he will accrue value over the year. So he will go up. So you might end up selling him for 10.2. So whatever you can do with that is probably beneficial. But when you get your wild card, it's a whole new slate, and
yes,
it's twice a year,
great.
and it's one of the main points of when you play that, how you play that. That can totally decide how your season goes. I got early wildcarders, you've got late wildcarders. You've got people that will do it the same way every year, but it's probably one of the more fun things to do. Like you played yours and it didn't work, or you played yours and you put in a good team. It's that kind of play wildcard moment.
Yeah, so as we've said, you get two of these, ladies and gentlemen. One this side of Christmas, one the far side of Christmas. That allows you to make up to, if you wanted, 15 changes in one game week and not lose any valuable points. Probably the best one of them all, to be fair. My favourite of the chips anyway. The next one, Brian, is what's called Bench Boost, and this option allows you to also receive points for your players that are on the bench during any game week. Now, that doesn't usually happen. Usually you just get the points for the 11 players that you've selected to take the field.
Yeah, if anyone on your bench, if they play and they score points, and someone on your team doesn't play, gets left out, they can come off the bench and take that player's place. But if all the 11 that you've selected, they all start, even if they only play 30 seconds, those guys on the bench, they stay on the bench. You don't get their points. But once a year, you get to pick a time. A lot of people will use this towards double game weeks, which are a thing that will come into where your team will be playing twice in 1 week. And you might have someone on the bench. You can use it that way. But it really depends, because it's very difficult to have players on the bench that are decent and get points and don't cost too much money. So like you're saying, the wild card being the best, the bench boost, as people will find out, is probably the worst of the chips.
Yeah, like I'm somebody that usually has a terrible bench and players that most likely are going to be playing anyway. I really just try and go strong on my starting 11 and maybe have one strong bench player. Another thing that's really important, actually, ladies and gentlemen, is the order of which you put your bench players there. So it does work in order. So your first bench player, if that's the first one available, that'll be the one that's substituted for you. Now, obviously, there are certain caveats to this, Brian. You have to have a certain amount of defenders on the pitch, certain amount of midfielders and all that kind of stuff. But in theory, your first substitute is the one that will be brought on if available. So do keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, if you play with a three-man back line, say you have three defenders, and your bench is one midfielder in first place, first cab off the rank, next cab off the rank. If one of your defenders gets injured, that midfielder won't come in for that defender. It will be the defender on your bench that will come in for your defender. But you can have, if you don't have the right order in your team, you can end up bringing on a terrible defender for a striker that went off injured, and you just happen to have a good midfielder that got 6 or 7 points just in behind him because you forgot to put him in first place to come off your bench. So you need to be careful.
Then we move on to the one that I think, Brian, is fair to say causes the most bragging, because there's always some fucker that manages to get this chip and play it just at the right week. And the one I'm talking about here is the triple captain one.
Oh yeah. I've got one of my best ones is when I triple captained Yannick Bolasie, and he played for Crystal Palace and he scored a hat-trick. So yeah, that's a real one for bragging rights.
You must have been unbearable that week.
I was utterly bearable, as always. But I think the first text I got about 2 minutes after that was, how the fuck did you pull that off? So that's, the triple captain will give you, you do it right, you can get, like you said, bragging rights. You can basically, like, if anyone's wondering, it is basically that. It's triple the points. So if your captain gets 10 points in the game, he gets 30 points. So if you get a lad that gets 16, 17 points, which is very doable, you can pick up a lot of points, especially anyone that's in a head-to-head league. Now we'll see that your triple captain won't win you a league over the course of the season, but it can win you a very important game week.
That's a good point. And as Brian said, you get one of these chips a season as well, so do use it carefully. The last one is free hit, Brian, and we were kind of go back and forth about whether we should talk about this. I'll run through it really quickly. This allows you to make multiple transfers, much like a wild card, but the caveat here is that it only lasts for 1 week, and then your team reverts right back to the way it was the week before. And again, you get one of these per season, mate.
Yeah, when you play that free hit, you can make your first sub, which will act like a normal substitution, and then you can play your free hit, and then it will revert to that. So you'll keep that one player that you brought in. But it's a 1 week wild card. You get to get rid of everyone, and again, people will use this on double game weeks.
That's exactly where I use it. Exactly where.
The season before last, it was St. Patrick's Day. I think Billy might be listening to this and he'll remember this. We were sitting at the bar and there was 4 teams. There was 8 teams playing. There were four games, and I used it that week. And because there was only about 8 players that were going to get points. I got well over 100 points in it because I just picked the players that did well that weekend. That's another strategy. That's another way of doing it. Because double game weeks can be a bit misleading. They're not everything. Sometimes they can be a bit of a damn squib. A blank week when there's very few teams playing, a few open games, and you can get everyone. You can bring in all those lads. They play for poor teams. You wouldn't want them normally. Get rid of them the next week, and you got all the points. And very few people would have gotten those points. So that was a strategy that was very successful for me. So there's always the flip side in fantasy. You always think, the double game week, the triple captains. Well, look at other things. Don't always just assume. Don't fixate on double game weeks.
One of the reasons that you should be watching this show, by the way, every week as the season goes on, is for these little things. As Brian said, there will be double game weeks. There will be double game weeks where only half the teams are playing double games, and these little tips and tricks can really help you out as the season goes on. This is why Brian and his friend are going to be taking over doing most of the show, because I've said from day one I am shite at Fantasy Premier League. I just do it for the fun.
Watch him win it now.
I tell you what, I'm not even going to be the person that says, I'm shite and I don't put effort in. I do. I genuinely try. I'm just terrible.
Yeah. There's plenty of them. You're one of those, you're not one of those, hopefully you're not one of those N'Golo Kante people. But yeah, I know. You put the effort in. They're the guys that just put in a team and forget about it.
That's a Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a Connor. I want to move on to the league codes now. I know that a couple of people in the chat have them. I want to give a shout as well to John Hamilton, who's great at sorting out the league codes and putting them in.
John is an absolute legend. I have to say thanks very much to John for everything he's been doing lately in chat with the codes and the links. Absolutely top class work.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join the main league, the league sponsored by our friends at Blood Husky, the code to join that league is lowercase d, lowercase o, 1999, and you can see it there on the image in tonight's stream as well. The good thing about that league is, as I said, massive thank you to bloodhusky.com who are looking after us. The leading manager each month, so the way we're going to work this is the last calendar day of every month at midnight, the last calendar day of every month, whoever's the leading manager in the regular league will receive a t-shirt of their choice from the sponsor bloodhusky.com. So massive thank you to them, Brian. That's a very nice gesture and another way to keep it interesting as the season goes on.
Yes, thanks very much to the guys for getting involved and sponsoring the league like that. It's something a couple of weeks ago, we weren't even doing this, I don't think, were we? And now we've got people like that on board and so many people interested. See how many numbers are in the league. It's brilliant. Yeah, this should be really great fun. I hope everyone that's listening, anyone is, just throw in a team. You never know. It's you get into it, it's good fun. And again, if you get bored and you don't like it, well, don't stress over it. Just leave it. That happens to lots of people. Just don't worry about it. It's not stress. It's just supposed to be fun.
I also want to stress that Joe will post anywhere in the world the guy that runs Blood Husky. So don't worry if you're America, Australia, wherever it is. If you're winning the league, you will get that T-shirt. I don't expect to be having to give my size and order number anytime soon because I won't be winning jack shit because I'm awful. Anyway, there is a
They
second
make
league.
nice stuff though. Just had to say that they do make really really nice stuff. I was looking at it last night. It's absolute it's really
It's
really,
real fan friendly. They've got their finger on
yeah
the pulse of Liverpool fans. That's what I'll say.
yeah. It's I like it. I like it. It's got kind of it's got a bit of authenticity to it. So, but
We do have a
that's
second league as well, ladies and gents, which is a head-to-head league. So what that means is each week you will be going head-to-head with another person from the league. Everybody will play everybody twice, I believe, Brian. Is that right?
yeah.
Depending on how many are in the league.
It's just a cup version. It's pretty much it's just like real football. You have the league, and everyone. Just in case anyone's wondering, when you might have mentioned this when there was technical difficulties, but when you enter your team into the game, you are in the global league. Everyone that enters the game is in a league together. We're all in one that global league, so you can finish first out of everybody in the game, out of 4 million people, whoever it is. And then we have our own private league. We have like that, and now you have your head-to-head, which is basically like your own little FA Cup. You know, you can be in the game with millions of people, and then one-on-one as well. So it's cool. It's really cool.
The code to join that league, ladies and gents, which again I'm sure John or Connor will put into the chat now. So the head-to-head league code is number 9, lowercase R for Romeo, lowercase H for Hotel, the number 2, the number 9, and lowercase B for Bravo. Now, to get on to the fun stuff, I should say, there are prizes. I mean, it's not fun if there isn't prizes. Connor nearly cried earlier on when I told him how much this was going to cost, but fuck him,
But he
we
cries
move on.
easily. He cries
He does
easily.
when it comes to money, he does.
Oh yeah, we know this. Oh God, he's a snowflake
So,
when it comes to wallet.
the winner of the Blood Husky Premier League will receive a €100 LFC store voucher, which they can spend however they like. Second place will receive a €50 Liverpool store voucher. And third place, a €25 store voucher. And I'm sure the guys at Blood Husky will throw in something for the winner as well. For the second league, the head-to-head league, we've decided that the winner of that will get a €75 LFC store voucher. And here's the kicker. I promise you guys, if you won both, we give you a bonus. Well, if you do manage to win both, Brian, we're going to throw in another €50 Liverpool store voucher as well. So potentially, the winner here could get a €225 Liverpool store voucher if they win both leagues.
Well, yeah. Come on, lads. Seriously. You know, where else are you going to find that? And don't forget, if you win it, like, there's all kinds of prizes in the game itself. There's all kinds of monthly prizes and things like that. So all you have to do is play well 1 month, you can win something. But I think anybody, forget about 225 quid. If you win this league and the head-to-heads, listen, you'd be dining out on that. That's talk about bragging rights. Like, that'd be a ridiculous achievement.
Yeah, you'd be well kitted out for the following season anyway. Right, to finish up before, this is just game week 1, as we said, we just wanted to come on and introduce the show. I thought maybe, Brian, we could have a quick run through the teams that we've picked. I don't know if you have yours handy there.
Yeah.
Right, so for me, let's go with goalkeepers. Who have you picked for your starting 11 keeper? I've gone with Patricio personally.
Ederson.
Ooh, nice. You've spent a few quid there, mate. That must have been a 6 million purchase, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, so what have you gone for? I've gone for a back 3, and I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jamal Lascelles, and Ben Chilwell to be starting the first week for me. Who have you gone with?
I'll have a back 4 if you don't mind, and it will be Luca Dean. It's Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Alexander Zinchenko.
Good choice with Zinchenko. I think he's going to have a good season this year for City. Very impressive young man, I have to say.
Salah gave him a tough time the other day. He's not a left back, but that's just so Guardiola, and it's so modern football that this guy Angelino they brought back. They sold him last year to PSV, brought him back this year. He had an awful pre-season. Mendy isn't fit, so Zinchenko has gotten the start at the moment, but just. Again, I'm an early wildcarder usually, so my strategy this year is more of a solid base, less risks, and going with what I know, because first 4 weeks of the season, probably the best way to go as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, go to the midfield. So
Another important thing, actually, that Brian kind of just touched on there is remember when you're picking your team, quite how much managers will chop and change or will rotate. So sometimes, like if you automatically drift towards Manchester City or Liverpool players, perhaps, well, we know Pep and Klopp would like to chop and change quite a bit, so keep that in mind as well. Brian wants to touch on the midfield. Right, so I've gone for 4 in my midfield, mate, to start. I've gone for Sadio Mane, who I've given the captain's armband to. I've gone for Yuri Tielemans, Lucas Moura and Bernardo Silva.
Sadio Mane.
Yeah, I'm gambling that he's going to play. I'm gambling he's starting against Norwich. If he doesn't, don't worry. My vice captain will be good to
Straight
go.
out of the blocks. Right.
Straight out of the blocks. So I'm putting a big season on Sadio this year.
Straight out of the blocks. Possible reasons why Craig doesn't do very well at fantasy football. Okay, right. You've got one man. You're going to have to get used to this for me, by the way, because
scenes when he bangs in a hat trick, and I am literally here balls out, telling you to
when he
suck on these nuts, pal.
Matchday squad.
That's all right.
Okay.
That's what subs are for, and that's what vice captains are for. And I have paid attention with my vice captain.
Okay, yeah, no, this is getting good already. Okay, go through. So you have Yuri Tielemans, Lucas Moura, the inexplicable Sadio Mane, and
Bernardo Silva.
Okay, right. Well, my midfield 4, because I'm going to 4-4-2. I think that might have given the game away. I have midfield 4. Salah, Fraser, Sterling, and here's one that everyone will think I robbed off the site because they previewed him tonight, is the young lad Robinson from Sheffield United. I know. He's what we call out of position. So you will have players in the game that will be registered. Again, look, this is for newbies, so all the old hands yawning. Okay, I get it. But you will have out of position players in the game. That is a player that is classified as a defender that plays in midfield, a midfielder that plays in attack as a striker. So you will always have OOP players.
Like Sadio and Mo as good examples.
Exactly. Like now, that's modern. Exactly, modern football is changing that way, so that there are fewer strikers and more attacking midfielders playing in those positions. So there's a kid called Robinson who plays for Sheffield United. He is 5. He's what we another term that you'll hear me and Billy use a lot is the term enabler. Now, an enabler is a player that you have judged is good enough to play in your team. He's not a superstar. He doesn't play for a big team. He's not on everyone's radar. But he is productive. He gets points. He plays every week.
I'm falling asleep already, I'm not going to lie.
Sorry.
This is getting far too fucking technically boring for me.
He costs so little that he enables you to spend money in other places and still have a player in a decent. So Robinson is an enabler, right? That's why he's in your team. That's why he's so cheap.
I've got a couple of mates who are enablers as well, to be fair.
I bet. And that's my Robinson, Salah, Fraser, Sterling. Sorry for boring everybody.
That's alright. The front 3 for me, I've gone for Bobby Firmino, Harry Kane, who's my vice captain. See, I did have a plan there just in case Sadio doesn't start. I've gone for Danny Ings as well because I have to admit it's a little bit of sentimentality there for Ingsy.
Yeah, I was very close. In one of my earlier drafts, I had Danny Ings but that was when I had a front 3. And Southampton are another team that are being very overlooked in terms of players that are being snapped up. They are going to be hugely impressive this year. But because they've a lot of new players, they've a new manager, no one is quite sure what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, who's going to play where. But if you want to be smart and if you want to be a little bit ahead of the game, look at what Southampton are doing. Obviously, you look at their fixtures, but look at who plays, who's getting minutes, because you can click on those things. You'll get to know, guys, when you play it. You can click on minutes played. You can see who's getting the games. Southampton are a team to watch. So Ings is
Give me your front 2 and shut the fuck up, mate. Come on, let's move this along.
Jimenez and Keane.
There you go. Jimenez and he has the cheek to slag me over Sadio Mane.
10.
The Everton boy. Is that what we're calling him? Everton boy.
Moise Kean. And Jimenez from Wolves, who I know has a yellow at the moment. So
there you go.
That's it. Now, so it's 4-2.
Do let us know your team in the comment section below. Let us know anything else you want to chat about. As I said, look, this was just week one. This is just an introduction. The more the leagues go on, the more the banter will start, the more fun that we'll have. Want to thank Brian for coming on real quickly. For those of you that are wondering, we will be back in 10 minutes with the late night agenda, tonight's regular show. So we'll be talking all things Liverpool, all transfers, Felipe Coutinho, all the stuff that you wonderful people want to chat about. Give us 10 minutes and we will be straight back. Brian, thank you very much, mate. I know I've been an awful pain in the arse today, but I did tell you from the start, the technicalities of this just aren't for me.
Yeah, but thanks for calling me a boring arsehole on live on the internet anyway. I love you always.
That's all right. You know I mean it. That's the important part.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's all as long as it's sincere. Yeah, whatever.
Right, guys, we'll chat to you soon. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Brian's a boring cunt, and we'll talk to you soon. Sure. Lots of love.